spent some time today working on renovating a small pond in our backyard. I thought I would document some aspects of this. Specifically, there's a trial that I'm underway with to see if we can get this to seal a little bit better. This pond has held water pretty decently. It's in part of a water flow situation where there's a whole series of ponds upslope of here that overflow. Then there's watercress and rice, then it overflows, watercress and rice, and then ultimately it comes to here, hopefully settles in, fills nicely, and then it has a chance to overflow and start sending northbound and eventually off the property. But it's a nice opportunity to have a pond in our yard, dip in for water. Our dog likes to come over and drink from it, but it was starting to run a little bit drier, and so what I'm trialing here is first I went through with the shovel and renovated the edges to get it nice and crisp and clean, and in this case actually gave it a level with the idea that once it's starting to seal and is a little bit more stable of a pond, we can use that flat area to store potted plants that have transplant shock or the like, or also eventually put in shallow loving aquatic perennial plants. And what I did here is I went through, once I had the shape back to how I wanted it, I dug down extra deep in the bottom to get access to a pocket of clay that was down there and mix it with some of the organic matter and muck that had deposited in here, and using water from a tank that's just upslope that I'm able to fill with a solar panel and a pump from a hand-dug spring that I have, minor spring, but that had water in it. So I used that water to rehydrate the clay and organic matter and basically make a thick paste that I worked in as thick and as smooth as I could on all the edges around this pond as a trial to see, is this going to help seal the pond? I'm open to the idea of using bentonite clay or natural kitty litter to help really tighten it up. I'd like this to be a reliably tight pond. What I absolutely won't do is put in a plastic liner. So we're trying first mixing the clay and organic matter, smearing it in and seeing what will happen here. Now this is relatively dry, it's got some water in the bottom. It'll be interesting to see if that drains out before the next rain. But historically I've found if we get a ½ inch of rain on our overall pretty wet site, especially aggregating all the water that's to the upslope of us, to the south of us, a ½ inch generally will top this whole pond right off, just because it's in such a common water flow situation here. So tomorrow night we're expected to get a ½ inch of rain or more. We'll see if that comes to fruition. We really need it. And if we do, I'll make another video to see first how the water is holding, and then the trials that I want to do with using duckweed and water lotus as some crops to grow in here. So anyway, you can see where there was nice organic matter. Part of the beauty of doing little ponds by hand is you can dump out. So I'm building up and extending some of the raised beds that are right around here, bulking them up, getting them a little bit better drained. A lot of opportunity to stack function here. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll keep sharing notes as it fills and then as it holds, hopefully.